it's something that's bad for our community. And I just don't vibe with that. I think that when I listen to conservatives, when I listen to moderates on either side of the aisle, alluding to things that trend you an example, I've been in situations, Mark, where just logically, I've sat up there and I've said to folks, if you are a member of the Republican Party and you know that a history of racism has by and large been associated, for example, with the Democratic Party instead of your party, if you know that even though Lyndon B. Johnson signed civil rights into legislation, but it was Republicans who assisted in bringing that legislation to his desk, and all of that gets ignored because a Democrat is able to convince a community it was us, it wasn't them, and you know that's not true. Wouldn't you resent it? Wouldn't you feel disgusted by it? Would it bother you? I'm just using that as an example to point out how I think. I ask those questions, and I'm not one that's going to be bought and sold or intimidated into vibing with one party at the expense of another just because you tell me to. No. What do the facts say? What's the truth? I want to get as close to it as possible. And if that alienates people and makes them turn against me, so be it. I never wanted you on my side anyway.
Good point. You're a practicing capitalist, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and proud of it. I'm not into socialism. I'm not into communism. I'm not into any of that. I'm an American citizen. I'm a proud black man who is a proud capitalist. That's a capitalist system that we lived in. I've heard about Cuba. I've heard about Venezuela. I've heard about other parts of this world that have engaged in such things, and I've never heard anybody bragging about how economically that's better for a nation than capitalism. This is America. It's capitalistic society that we live in, and I'm all for it.
And it gives people opportunities if they'll grab it and try it, don't you think? Look at you. You didn't grow up wealthy. You grew up in a one-parent household. Your wonderful dear mother raised you. She worked multiple jobs. She broke her back doing what she needed to do. She raises a wonderful son like you. You're a writer. You become a newspaper man. You work your way up. You're the American dream.
Well, I'll say this. I had both parents in. It's just that one acted like a parent and the other didn't, but they were both there. What I would tell you is that, listen, I've always been a moderator, and I'll tell you this. My mother, this is the interesting part of, and a lot of black families, I think, are like this, but I don't know for sure, obviously. I would tell you that my mother always voted Democrat. I never saw much in our house that was Democratic. My mother was conservative to the core until she went to the polls, and then she would usually vote for a Democrat, whether it was Mario Cuomo as the governor of New York, or it was, it was somebody running for president, whether it was a Jimmy Carter or whether it was a Bill Clinton or anybody. That's how my mother was.
Don't hang up. I want to finish this with you. A lot of that started after FDR and the New Deal, and not just with blacks, and Jews and Hispanics and so forth. So we'll talk about this a little bit more. Maybe I'll circle back to sports with the great Stephen A. Smith. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote.
That's a funny commercial. Due to the decline in our economy.
Again, this protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-995-4766.
Maybe if you cut the price of cars in half, there wouldn't be a decline in the economy.
Call 800-995-4766. Again, 800-995-4766.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-579-9068. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today.
Oh, yeah. You like the baby sharks, huh?
Or call 800-579-9068.
See what this is? This is the Baby Shark
9068.
Baby Shark album.
Real solutions for real people.
D'Agostino, law, fight back. I'm injury attorney John Ryan D'Agostino.
Over there we got Minecraft.
Continuing
Over here we got Spidey Man.
helping the injured for over 35
And over here we got
My father, John
Baby
D'Agostino,
Shark.
built this injury firm to help accident victims. This is John D'Agostino, and this is a family firm. For us, it's about doing what's right and making sure somebody pays for your pain. Call us first at 1-800-FIGHT-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
This is John Katsimatidis. Since we bought WABC Radio, we became #1 in the country with millions and millions of listeners. We have been certified by Nielsen to be the #1 talk station in the country. Advertising? If you advertise with WABC, you will be a winner too. Why don't you email me at CATS, C-A-T-S, at WABCRadio.com, and you advertise with winners. You become a winner.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Top Dog with Captain Ed Mametz and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
Today's guest is retired NYPD.
Oh, yeah, look at this
Jack
Sharky.
Gucci. Jack, you were on the job in 9/11, correct?
Yes. I was actually going to the police academy.
Look at this Sharky.
Investigation course, the criminal investigation course. I remember when the first plane hit the building, life stopped, everything stopped. Got a message that we were going to muster down by the Trade Center. I wasn't thinking everybody was coming from Brooklyn and I was already in Manhattan. And I remember thinking like, oh, I don't want to bring my car there. So I saw a squad car and I asked them to drive me down. And as we're getting closer, it was right across the street from the Trade Center. There was a couple of guys, I think they were detectives. One of the detectives started screaming the buildings were coming down. And that was like the most useless I've ever felt on the job.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra.
Former NYPD Commissioner Bill Bratton's reacting to NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch's decision to serve under New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani's administration, and that the two have come to an agreement.
I would have to assume that there were negotiations and that there was some coming together in a sense.
Oh, I'm doing great.
Concerns, his priority.
I don't have
He's
face.
thrilled that a decision has been made, reacting to Mamdani saying they found common ground.
I don't have one of those.
Common ground is certainly the members of the police department, the unions would be very happy.
Outgoing Mayor Eric Adams says it's the 8th straight quarter of declining crime across the city because of policies put in a few years ago. Lisa Ritchie, 77 WABC News. Okay.
There's your blue shark, Jibu. You see your blue shark? And it's got a pink, I gave it a pink fin. You see the pink fin on top it's got there?
The best show on ESPN is First Take. There's no question about it. ESPN knows that. That's because of Stephen A. He's got a great podcast on YouTube, The Smith Show. So we were talking, Stephen A., before the break about your mom really led a very conservative household, but she voted Democrat. A lot of people did that. My ancestors did that. Because one of the things the New Deal did is, it did a lot of redistribution of wealth, expanded welfare programs like that. And a lot of people took advantage of those, and many of them needed it during the Depression. But it's very interesting when it comes to civil rights, and I've written about that. He had a very poor record. In 1940, Joe Louis.
You know, there was a commercial on that said that the
anti-lynching bill,
due to the current market
South, he wouldn't meet with black organizations.
of car sales,
They begged to meet with him, and I go on. And for Jews, we voted heavily
they're
for
offering a
FDR.
special sale
His State Department,
for car insurance in case your car breaks down. In case your car breaks down, they'll fix it if you buy the car insurance.
Coalition of minority groups and so forth that the Democrats-
So I'm like, instead of the market being down, why don't the manufacturers just cut the price in half, reset the car prices to what they were 5, 6, 7 years ago,
People have their beliefs
and then there won't be no manufacturer downturn.
in the media because
There won't be no manufacturing downturn.
and that's why
But when you double the price of cars in a year,
at every turn.
that's what happens.
A simple solution to all the problems that ails the fourth estate, which is the media, is to simply do not take sides. Make sure you go after both sides equally. Neither side likes you, or neither side dislikes you. Whatever it is, make sure you do that. Covering sports at some point in time, you gotta call it like you see it. There is no escape. You go out and you play like trash, we gotta say so. You play exceptionally well and you're head and shoulders above the other, we gotta say so. So for me to know that I do that, and I've done that throughout my 30-plus year career, it's easy for me to make the transition into the world of politics and say, what is this? For example, we have a shutdown going on. On one hand, of course I'm going to...
There we go. We got the orange shark painted here.
What are you thinking? You got federal workers that are not receiving checks, while government officials, these elected officials are receiving checks and having their health care. How do you justify that? You're holding out for Affordable Care Act subsidies.
The numbers game is finished.
Didn't you tell us if we can want it out of one?
We got the numbers game finished.
Didn't you tell us it was going to be about $900 billion and it's cost us over $1.5 trillion? And now
You see that? The numbers game is finished.
Where does it end? So on that side, the Democrats are wrong. On the other side of the aisle, how can we put the justice in the big, beautiful bill, President Trump? Oh, by the way, I thought you were the ultimate deal maker, that you could make something work, you could work out something with anybody. You're the author of the art of the deal. Where are you at? Okay? I think about things like that.
Well, hold on, let me ask you something.
You can
Let me
be
ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Not to be knee-jerk about this. You can be ahead of the art of the deal if the other side doesn't want to deal. And they take what's not just untraditional, but never been done, which is shut down the government during a continuing resolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to deal. It's just tough. Now, you
I totally
see
agree
that,
with you.
and you see that beyond politics. You see it in sports, you see it in business. Go ahead.
That's true. All I was doing was chiding him a little bit because he always blows me how he can do what no
Now
one
we got to
else can
paint
do.
these bubbles.
Him or not, or it's not a like
We got to get the bubbles painted.
It's not a like issue with me. Let me say this about President Trump. What I will never do is sit up here and talk about him the way the Democrats did for a separate reason. I had no problem with him before he ran for the presidency. We used to go to his events all the time, his casinos, his hotels, everything. We'd see each other at games. He was the one who introduced me to Bill O'Reilly. And really, many years ago. Yes, sir. Okay, and I would be at the Wynn Hotel in Vegas, and all of a sudden people come running to me. Wait a minute, Mr. Trump is here. He wants to say hello and stuff like that. Always kind to me, always decent to me, always got along with a whole bunch of us as black folks in the world of sports and beyond. So all of this racist stuff, Nazi stuff, you never heard those words coming out of my mouth because I knew that was nonsense. That he was never like that. And I was never going to sit up there and transition to that. What I would say is that the pettiness, the lack of statesmanship, the belittling of other people and stuff like that. Do I believe that the presidency is a statesmanship position? Yes. Do I wish he would act, prioritize not being so petty and focus on issues that are really, really relevant to us? Sure. And I had Jim Jordan on my show, and then Mike Johnson. I spoke to both of them about this with him, and Jim Jordan started laughing because originally he was saying that the president does what he says he's going to do, and that's why we love him and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, but he's also an Avengers tour. And then Jim Jordan tried to push back, and I said, "Are you kidding me? You understand what's happening with some of the people that he's going after?"
Let me ask you before we run out of time. What's wrong with a vengeance tour?
In 2016, according to my sources, Donald Trump had a boatload of information on Hillary Rodham Clinton and those 33,000 emails.
Right.
And he could have gotten her, and he said, "Leave it alone. It's not in the best interest of the country."
And then comes
That
20,
doesn't help us.
hold on now, and they
Right.
unleash the Department of Justice. They bring phony cases against him. They go after his
Right.
family.
Right.
They go after his money. They go after everything.
That's right.
Cases are being thrown
And
out.
he got the ultimate revenge, Mark. He got the ultimate revenge. He won the presidency. He's back.
He won the presidency in spite of what we're.
I agree.
I tell you as a lawyer.
Absolutely.
Okay. So why is it so
I
bad?
agree.
He says that. Hold on now. Why is it so bad? He says to the Department of Justice, "You need to get to the bottom of this. We can't have people like. We can't have people like Smith going around and doing this to people, and I can't have the criminal division doing this to people. Look, if we come to anybody else, we would agree that it's outrageous. And I don't view this so much, and I sort of said it tongue in cheek, a vengeance story. I view this as this has to be fixed, and the people responsible need to be held to account.
And I'm not saying that that's unfair. That's not unfair coming from you and others. What I'm trying to say is that on many, many occasions, when we take the country into consideration and we think what's in the best interest, we're thinking about the people, not just ourselves. And here's why that matters. Because you have folks on the left and the right that when you engage in this kind of behavior, and I'm not blaming just him, please don't get me wrong, I'm just answering your question. I'm just answering your question from a generic perspective. When that keeps going on, ultimately the divide widens. And then somehow, some way, it gets into the streets of America where, because of this binary system that we live in, everybody is focused on their side winning. And if their side doesn't win, oh my God, Armageddon has arrived and the world is going to come to an end. This is America. We have incredible intestinal resolve. We can overcome anything if our focus is where it needs to be and our minds are right and we're out in the streets recognizing and celebrating what America is, recognizing we have our flaws, but we're still the greatest country in the world. We don't need to have that kind of attitude, and we need to find a way to move forward. I'm not saying the way to move forward is by turning a blind eye to death about what happened to him. I'm saying somewhere along the way, we got to think about the chaos and the mayhem that has been pervasive in the streets of America because of the divide that has existed, and ask ourselves, how much is this truly benefiting us? That's all I'm saying.
I think a lot going on in the streets has nothing to do with it. A lot going on in the streets have to do with people we've brought into this country, who will not assimilate into this country like people in the past have.
That's true.
And I'll tell you something else. You know what?
I don't disagree with you there. I don't disagree with that.
You're going to miss this man in 10 years. You mark my words. If I'm still alive, I'm going to bring you back. Before that. But still, people are going to miss this guy because, go ahead.
I'm not denying that. I don't need 10 years. I think that everything he's done hasn't been wrong in my eyes. I totally agree with what he's done with immigration. I don't like to see ICE, the optics of ICE in the streets of America with that stuff going on, but I understand why he needed to do what he needed to do in terms of closing the borders, okay? You look at the National Guard in some of these cities. No, I don't agree with him putting the National Guard in the city, but I asked Governor Pritzker of Illinois when he was on my show, how come you haven't asked for his help? Because if I'm a governor of a state, guess what I'm doing? If I got issues in the streets of my state, and he offers assistance, I'm going to say, can we talk? Because I don't know if I want your idea exactly, but I certainly want your assistance.
What did Pritzker say
to you about it, Mr. President? And he said, you're absolutely right, Stephen. I do want to doesn't do it, but not to help you. Exactly. Not that, why haven't you done it? He's offering to do, and the heavy hand with which he's doing it. But you are
he never talked.
Right. We do.
He never talked.
I'm just telling you what he said. You're right, and I'm not refuting that. You would know better than me. I'm just telling you what he told me. See, I like to get these people on the record, and then that way, people like yourself and various others who know you heard them on the record, so you know whether they lied or whether they told the truth. I was doing sports for 30 years. I'm just doing this stuff now, so I don't know if it's true or not true, but I know I get them on the record to say it, and that's my point. And then
I've got to go, but I want to tell you something. You're terrific. You really are. I really enjoy talking to you. I enjoy our friendship. Folks, you got to know what a sweetheart this guy is.
Same here.
He really is. He's really a good man. Treats people with respect. He's passionate about what he does. That's why he is what he is. There's only one Stephen A. Smith. Don't get mad at me.
And I don't mind learning. I don't mind learning. I don't know everything. I learn as
I
I go
can't
along.
tell. Don't get mad at me. I'm sure I'll be loved over there. I can't tell 90% of the ESPN guys from one from the other. I'm just being honest. That guy played fullback. That guy was a linebacker. That guy picked his nose. I don't know who's what, but I know you. You're damn good. God
There you
bless
go.
you, my friend.
All the best.
All right, man. Take care. Man, I like him. He's great. No, we don't always agree, okay? He says it, I say it, he knows it, I know it, Sean knows it. It's okay. This is the way it's supposed to be, okay? This is the way I used to deal with people who were more liberal, or not even more liberal, less conservative than I am. This is the way it used to be, not, the Jews are trying to get us. No, I'm not. You know what I mean, Mr. Blue? There's a slight difference. I mean, it's disgusting. He's a good man. I know his heart. He's a good man. The world that's gone fully digital, holding something real in your hands is almost revolutionary. That's what Frontier Magazine is, a piece of history you can touch, a tangible record of the truth in a time when truth is too easily erased. Now, Frontier from Blaze Media is back with issue number 4, our oldest, most unapologetic edition yet. When you own Frontier from Blaze Media, you'll own something that can't be buried by an algorithm. You can pass it on one generation to the next. Now, I don't know how many magazines are passed on one generation to the next, but I think you're going to really like this one. And I'll tell you what's really happening. The only way to get it is through Blaze Unlimited at blazeunlimited.com/Levin, blazeunlimited.com/LEVIN. Your ticket to Frontier, plus early access to events, VIP treatment, members-only content built for people who want to go deeper. This isn't just about reading the truth. It's about owning it. So I want to encourage you to visit blazeunlimited.com/Levin. Go there now. Use promo code Frontier40, Frontier40. You get $40 off, plus digital access to issues 1, 2, and 3. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin, 27 WABC.
Guys don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement middle name.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with a promo code BACK. Terms apply. 77 WABC presents Echoes of the Unknown. Tales of the bizarre and extraordinary.
With Lionel from the other side of midnight.
The Flannan Isles Lighthouse Lightkeepers disappear. It's December 1900, and the Flannan Isles Lighthouse has gone dark in the wild islands north of Scotland. James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and William MacArthur are currently manning the remote outpost. Captain James Harvey and the crew of his ship, the Hesperus, are traveling with assistant lightkeeper Joseph Moore to investigate. They arrive at Ellen Moore's, a small isle off the northwestern coast of Scotland, an island with few year-round residents and the location of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse. Upon arrival, the men find the lighthouse deserted, and the three lightkeepers nowhere to be found. Inside the lighthouse, which is strangely unlocked, untouched plates of food are laid out on the dining table, and a stopped clock is found in the kitchen. Also, a chair is knocked over, and two of the three coats belonging to the lightkeepers are missing. Despite a thorough search of the lighthouse and the island, no bodies were ever found. And questions remain about why all three lightkeepers would have left the lighthouse at one time, because it was strictly against the rules. The men likely disappeared sometime around December the 15th, 1900, when a vicious storm swept across the North Atlantic. There have been many books written about and inspired by the disappearance of the Flannan Isles lightkeepers, as well as the film The Vanishing, starring Gerard Butler, released in 2018. Many believe the three lightkeepers lost their lives in pursuit of their duty, but to this day, no one knows for sure what really happened to the lightkeepers. And so, the whereabouts of the Flannan Isles lighthouse innkeepers continues to echo into the unknown.
Guys, are you looking for a good all-around men's health partner? For anything from weight loss to testosterone support and beyond. Check out Rugiet. They have clinically backed medications and free consultations from board-certified doctors that make it easy to get a personalized treatment plan, all online. Plus, all prescriptions come from FDA-regulated pharmacies and shipped direct to your home. Stop making excuses and start making moves. Visit Rugiet.com/Levin to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/Levin. Use our code so they know we sent you. Get 15% off your first order now at RUGIET.com/Levin. Rugiet, your personalized men's health partner.
Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Visit the Rugiet website for full safety information.
Good looks, charm, smarts. It all adds up to the Mark Levin Radio Show.
Let me ask you something, folks. Are you concerned about what goes on in Washington? The Democrats will not stop pushing for spending and massive debt. What that means is the Treasury Department, the printing presses just keep going and going and going and going. That's what that means. What do you think about that? Yeah? Well, if they take over in the midterm elections, and I'm worried, we have a fight on our hands and we got to deal with this. They have the press on their side as always, but look, I'm not predicting anything. As you know, I always tell you I'm not in the prediction business, but I am in the reality business, and we got to. And that's what they're going to do. And even now what's being done, you know, in terms of spending and so forth, the Republicans are doing the very best they can. No question about that. But you still have this dark cloud. And even if we were balancing the budget right now, we have almost $38 trillion in debt. And over $300 trillion in debt when you put everything on budget, like the IOUs for Social Security and Medicare and student loans and all the rest of it. You might say, well, America can't default. Well, of course it can. We've had some damn big depressions. We had a massive depression in the 1800s, massive, even bigger than the so-called Great Depression in the 1930s. We've come very close during your lifetime, very close. And I just don't see it getting better with the Democrats. The president's doing everything humanly possible. Elon Musk had Republicans. We have two great leaders in Thune and Mike Johnson, who I think is one of the great speakers of all time. So what do? You got to diversify. You have to protect what's yours. You have to be thinking of things. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean be stupid with your money and just throw it around and put it all in one place. Diversification means just don't keep everything in paper or in equity, in stock. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's an old saying, and it's a proverb, and it's a good one. And that's typically what financial advisors will tell you. You got to move your money into different areas. And one of the areas that I do is gold. Now, there's gold and silver. I like gold, but gold and silver, you understand. I mean, gold is at a record high. And it's only going higher. As far as I'm concerned, how would it be going lower? And for over 25 years, Monetary Gold has helped Americans get help protecting their wealth through every one of these storms. Every one of them, with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, a proven record of helping clients come out stronger on the other side. And that's what's key. We've checked them out. They're really a wonderful organization, very transparent, customer-friendly. Some of you with your pensions, your IRAs, or whatever, your 401ks, some people are doing more diversification into gold for that. And I'm not talking about certificates. I'm talking about real gold. So nobody else is going to fix this. They're not going to fix your situation, even though they're creating a huge problem for you. So I want to encourage you to call Monetary Gold, 877-NOW-GOLD. That's the number, 877-NOW-GOLD, 877-NOW-GOLD. You can go online, marklovesgold.com. You go there right now, marklovesgold.com. When the dollar trembles, gold stands tall. Help protect what's yours, but you have to do it. You have to do it. Performance may vary. Always consult your financial and tax professional before making an investment decision. Very, very important. In my humble opinion, Caroline Leavitt at the White House briefing today, there's a lot she was dealing with. And let's see here. Gas. No, not that. Gasoline. Now, you're all going to be, or many of you are going to be driving this holiday season. Gasoline is cheaper than it was last year. Cut 9, go.
President Trump's policies are working to make Americans' Thanksgiving more affordable this year, from their commute to the dinner table. Nearly 100 million Americans are expected to drive next week to spend time with loved ones for the holiday. And thanks to President Trump's Drill Baby Drill agenda, the national average price of a gallon of gas on Thanksgiving Day is projected to be at the cheapest price since the COVID pandemic in 2021. President Trump is bringing down gas prices and providing significant savings to American families at the pump. And again, we expect those prices to continue to decline.
One of the things I remember was when Bill Clinton was running against Bush 41, he claimed we were in a recession, the prices were higher. He lied. We weren't in a recession, prices weren't higher. Starting to get a sense some of that's going on too with the Democrats. That's not to say many people aren't struggling. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying they're very much lying about Trump's accomplishments. I'll be right back.
Donate this holiday season. Join 77 WABC, AARP New York City,
Aristides and D'Agostino Supermarket, nationwide imaging services,
and the Police Athletic League as we deliver turkeys to more than 5,000 families in need. Donate now. Go
to WABCFoundationCares.com.
For just $50, you can feed a family in need.
That's WABCFoundationCares.com.
This Saturday at 10:30 a.m., the 77 WABC Thanksgiving Trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those in need. 77 WABC cares. If you can't wait to listen to all your favorite 77 WABC shows, download all the WABC goodness right now on the 77 WABC app and WABCRadio.com.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour.
77 WABC News starts now.
Partly cloudy skies on this Thursday, November 20th. Good evening, I'm Lisa Ritchie. President Trump is heaping praise on the Saudi Crown Prince. More from Mark Mayfield.
While speaking at the U.S.-Saudi Arabia Investment Forum in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, Trump touted the growing business ties between the two countries.
This week, our countries also signed groundbreaking agreements on civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence.
Trump was joined by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The forum attendees included Elon Musk and CEOs from Chevron, Qualcomm, Cisco, General Dynamics, and Pfizer. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers is back from his teaching role at Harvard University, where he once served as president over emails showing his close ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He is also resigning from the board of OpenAI. The White House is defending President Trump, calling a female reporter piggy when she asked him about the Epstein files. Video shows the president telling her, "Quiet, piggy," before turning to another reporter. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt defended Trump.
It's one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president, because of his frankness. And he calls out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news.
Leavitt added the president gives reporters a level of access not seen under former President Biden. New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani heads to Washington tomorrow, where he will meet with President Trump, and says he wants to try and work with Trump on bringing the cost of living down in New York.
I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers. If an agenda hurts New Yorkers, I will also be the first to say so.
Trump has repeatedly bashed Mamdani, calling him a communist and previously threatening to withhold federal funds to do. Mayor Eric Adams may be in Uzbekistan right now, but he's keeping an eye on New York City, condemning an anti-Semitic protest outside of a Manhattan synagogue. 200 protesters chanted, "Globalize the Intifada" Wednesday night outside of Park East Synagogue. Inside, a nonprofit group is holding an event that helps Jews immigrate to Israel. The pro-Palestinian group organized the protest. A man in Flatbush, Brooklyn is nursing stab wounds after he says his mail carrier went postal. Noam Layden has more.
Louis Lamboy says the worker was sorting envelopes and packages in his building and was rude to him, so he took out his phone to tape her, and that's when he says the stabbing took place.
I just asked her for the mail. She was very rude. She was nasty, and she started cursing, and I said, "All right, I'm going to record you." And he came around with a knife and stabbed me on the left side of my stomach.
35-year-old Jessica Griffin, who is now charged with 2 counts of assault and resisting arrest, was charged with assault for attacking another person while on the job back in March of 2023. Noam Layden, WABC News.
Hopes are high that NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch and Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani will be getting along. Joe Connolly has more.
They are an unlikely match. New York's billionaire heiress police commissioner and the Democratic Socialist mayor-elect who once called for defunding the police. Her decision to stay has been praised across the political spectrum. A high official in a former administration told me, "We'll see what happens when they disagree. Many hope they'll work it out." Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
Prepping for holiday traffic, Lisa G tells us where to stay away from.
Consumer Affairs analyzed the 50 most crowded cities by hours of congestion during the holidays, miles traveled during the holidays, fatal crashes in good weather, and fatal crashes in bad weather. And Tampa came out on top, with drivers stuck in heavy traffic for about 4 hours and 24 minutes each day. Meantime, New York City, Los Angeles, and San Francisco didn't see sharp increases in holiday traffic last year. Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
This holiday season, help the 77 WABC Radio Foundation to feed those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. Join 77 WABC, AARP New York City, the Police Gristedes and D'Agostino supermarkets, and Nationwide Imaging Services as we deliver Thanksgiving turkeys to more than 5,000 families across the city. On November 22nd at 10:30 a.m., the 77 WABC Thanksgiving Trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. 77 WABC Cares. In sports, Jets cornerback Chris Boyd has been upgraded to stable condition and is now breathing on his own after being shot in the abdomen early Sunday morning in Manhattan.
Hey, Jibu, what do you think of my coloring picture?
Removed from his right lung. Your
Jibu.
forecast for tonight: cloudy skies, the low 42 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds, a few scattered showers, but warmer with a high of 53. Saturday, morning showers and then clearing skies, the high 50. For Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds with a high again about 50 degrees. Partly cloudy skies outside of our Midtown studios. Wall Street closed after a roller coaster day with stocks a bit lower. The Dow fell 386 points to close at 45,752. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Dominic Carter, City Hall.
I told you folks exactly what was going to happen, and this is exactly the way it went down. So Mamdani supposedly is going to spend the time, as people say, to reach out to those that didn't vote for him to say that he's your mayor too. So really, he starts out by trashing the popular president of the United States, President Trump. I tried to warn you folks that somebody had to drop out. So if it was a two-man race, momentum would have pushed Cuomo over the top. Oh no, Dominic, if this one does this and this does that, then this one could win. No matter how many times I told you the way it was going to go down, it went down exactly the way I told you it was going to. And if I'm Cuomo right now, I am really pissed off. Really pissed off.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. This is the Stone Zone with Roger Stone.
People love him and respect him. Roger Stone.
Now, give him his own. It's the Stone Zone. Here's Roger Stone.
Well, thank you again for joining us here in the Stone Zone. Roger is still out, and he should be back soon. My name is Ken Matthews. It's just really been so much fun having the opportunity and the privilege to talk to his audience all week, so thank you for that. Anyway, let's get started. It's 800-848-9222. Thursday, November 20th, some good news happening in Washington, which is rare, but well, let's start with something that I was happy to see this, and feel free to weigh in, 800-848-9222. Trump's doing some things with energy that I'm very excited about. Obviously, there are some things happening in Congress that's, well, there's some entertaining things. There's that big investigation that I'm very excited about down in Florida. The Congresswoman Sheila McCormick charged with stealing $5 million in COVID aid funds. Wow. She could get up to 53 years in prison. Yeah. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. I used to live in Fort Lauderdale many years ago. I mean, I was just a lad, a small lad at the time. But so that's kind of happening. So there's some progress there. We still haven't gotten a clean read on the Epstein files. I don't think that'll happen until early next week. We'll kind of see what's happening there. But I did want to point out the fact that everybody's trying to get, and this is a game that certain groups and organizations, sometimes political parties or entities, like to play. And it's called, if you associate with someone that we don't like, you're in trouble. So this is how that's going. And I'm talking about Nick Fuentes being on Tucker Carlson's show, which I saw the interview. I'm a fan of Tucker, and I do watch Nick. And this is what CBS had to say about it when President Donald Trump did not take the bait.
Some Republicans, including one-time ally Marjorie Taylor Greene over the Epstein files, he has also weighed in gently on another Republican feud, whether it was wrong or in any way inappropriate or politically tone-deaf for Tucker Carlson to interview white nationalist Nick Fuentes. Here was the president on that topic.
We've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
Decide what? Those words certainly caught Fuentes' attention. He went to social media, and said, thank you, the president.
I was watching Nick the other night, and he was very happy to see that the president didn't get in line with so many other Republicans. So many are unclear on what they're even talking about often and just attack because they were told to attack. I am a big fan of free speech. I am a purist when it comes to free speech. You hear a lot of people say they're constitutionalists and they're a purist when they come to the Constitution, and this is what the Founding Fathers would want. It's the First and Second Amendment are the most abused, in my opinion, and then followed by the Fourth, the Fifth, and the 10th in that order. That's just my opinion as a novice. But First and Second have always been abused, and they're very selectively abused. I mean, every month we lose more Second Amendment rights. We have a right, and it shall not be infringed, to bear arms, but every month there's something new. There's a new registration scheme, there's a new ID process, there's a new list, there's a new limit on how many bullets I can have in my magazine, or how long the barrel can be, or, you know, and it's the same with the First Amendment too. Oh, you can speak freely, you just can't say this. Well, why not? You say that, well, this is different. No, it's not. It's not. As long as you or I am not breaking the law with our speech, which is very difficult to do, and that's why they keep making up new rules and regulations and censorship, then it is considered free speech. So I just have to say, I was happy to see that, and it was funny because I forget the guy's name on CBS. I can't, it's so hard to keep track of some of those liars on the different networks, so I wasn't sure which liar it was. But you could see how he was unsure how to cover the story because he said, well, that's all that Trump said. Because people have reached out to President Trump just like they've reached out to J.D. Vance 2 nights ago. A bunch of donors and fundraisers reached out to J.D. Vance, and then they went on record and said, we're so disappointed that J.D. Vance has not denounced Tucker Carlson. Why? Why? Why would you denounce Tucker Carlson other than the fact that he has a guest that you don't like on? I could understand if you denounce a corrupt congressperson, or you denounce a pedophile, or you denounce someone who's embezzling money from Congress. But why in the hell are political people expected to denounce members of the media if other political people have a problem with the content of their opinion? You see where we're going with this, right? Okay, I just want to make sure you see, because I keep running into Republicans that don't understand it, and they're missing the boat, and we're coming up to the midterms, and there's people on the right and people on the left that are extremely aware of how our free speech is being limited. I cannot stand Whoopi Goldberg. I hate what comes out of her mouth most days. But she has the right to free speech. I don't like The View. I've never said it should be canceled in my life. I've never said anyone or anything should be canceled. Period. That's pure free speech. The best you could do, in my opinion, with the Tucker Carlsons or Nick Fuentes or any number of people that seem to have people in a panic, debate them. Debate them. You want to get ratings? You want to see ratings like you've never seen before in your life? Platform Tucker and fill in the blank. Put anybody you want against Tucker or Nick or any number of people. Everybody talks about Ben Shapiro, how he's a debating wizard. Put Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes on a stage. Can you imagine the ratings? Can you imagine the views? You would have global views. I bet you, I'm going to go out on the limb here. Watch out, the limb's getting thin. I bet you'd have more people watching Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes debate than watching the Super Bowl. What do you think? 800-848-9222. Now, don't call up and start putting words in my mouth, because I have no respect for that at all. I'm so tired of that. It's been going on for years. I've watched people do it to people in the media. I've watched people misquote people. They've misquoted my friends. I've watched people attack Jan Sixers and, you know, the people that challenge the election. I'm just tired of it. So no one can read minds. I am a free speech purist. And I don't know how many times we have to have this discussion as adults and say, this is the United States of America. It's not any other country. It's the United States of America. You will not take away my First or Second Amendment rights. You strip me of so many others in the financial world, the economic world, the property world, and are in that category, believe it or not. We have people in this country that still walk around thinking our tax system is voluntary. What are you bitching about taxes for, Ken? It's voluntary. Are you serious? Stop it. Stop it. But what do you think? I think that would be a great debate, an awesome debate. So here's some good news. More good news, I would say. Trump is backing 3 Mile Island again. They're restarting 3 Mile Island. I live in Pennsylvania. It's a $1 billion loan to Constellation. Constellation Energy is renaming it. I think they're going to rename it. Oh, gosh. Listen, I wonder if a consultant charged them to come up with this name. Why don't we call it the Crane Clean Energy Center? I'm for it, though. Seriously. I got to tell you, Nuke Energy, it's among the cleanest. It is among the cleanest. We need more nuclear power plants and less solar farms. Solar farms take up too much space. And Nuke lasts forever, and it's clean. And most people don't even know that it's running some of the major pieces of equipment and apparatus in our Navy and elsewhere. So that's kind of exciting. Now, the down part of it is, and there's always a downside, this is the problem with doing complete research and not just taking the headline off of TikTok, okay? I'm not thrilled about the giant data centers because they chew up a lot of land and they chew up a ton of energy. And several more states, I don't have the list in front of me, are suggesting a smart meter or some version of a smart meter in the states, in the areas around these data centers. There's now 5, I think 6 in total, states bringing in these AI data centers that are going to take a ton of energy. So how are we going to do it? Well, we're going to restart some nuke plants, which I agree with. And I also think that we should always look for alternatives, okay? But we need to drill, baby, drill. And that's something that President Trump promised, and he's delivering on that too, you see? Not everything's bad this week. He announced plans for new oil drilling off the coast of California and Florida. Yes! Yes! Yeah, I'm thrilled about that. That's why it's there. That's why it's there. You know, you can have 1 or 2 oil rigs out there, or you can have hundreds of those ugly, obnoxious turbines, those giant fans that really don't work if it's not windy. It's kind of like the solar panels not working if it's not sunny. I think solar panels are great. I have a little solar panel pack on the back of my phone. So, and to give you a great example, I was in New York a few months ago and my phone went dead. And I just put it out in the sun, it started charging. Yeah, and that's about it. This ridiculousness that solar panels are running entire companies and entire cities, that's mythology. Look deeper at what's really backing those plants up and what's really running those plants. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on where we are so far. 800-848-9222. My name's Ken Matthews. We're in the Stone Zone, and we'll be right back.
This is the Stone Zone with Roger Stone.
He likes politics and he's a professional at the highest level. Roger Stone. Where's Roger?
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. Need to have leaf filter installed? Oh, Ron. Well, we'll come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your leaf filter, America's #1 gutter protection system. So I didn't need to get on this ladder? Ron, Leaf Filter trusted pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off. Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details. The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Hello, I'm Marian Kuharski with Pro-Life Across America. Did you know that a billboard can save a baby's life? When our billboards and radio ads are running, we receive hundreds of calls from those seeking pregnancy information and support. Every caller is connected to a local center offering free ultrasound and confidential counseling. Won't you join us in this life-saving effort? Donate today and help us do more. No gift is too small. That's prolifeacrossamerica.org.
Did you know you can help regrow cartilage in your joints, ligaments, connective tissue, and joints weaken with age? All because our natural production of a particular protein declines, leaving you vulnerable to injuries. Scientifically proven, this overlooked nutrient can help rebuild connective tissue, strengthen joints, and support mobility. Not having enough of this protein was once considered to be an irreversible step in the progression of joint pain. Until now, just go to getnativepath.com/blow and get up to 45% off today. GETNATIVEPATH.com/blow.
This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra.
An investigation is underway into the death of a high school senior aboard the Carnival cruise ship Horizon. The circumstances of Anna Kepner's death unclear. Former Miami Police Chief Jorge Colina says it's interesting that the medical examiner gave the time of death as 11:17 a.m. on a Friday.
They were very specific with the time, and that part's a little peculiar. Normally they kind of put out a reference point.
Colina says FBI investigators will work to figure out what happened.
What the FBI is going to want to do here is interview anybody that would have interacted with her. They're going to want to review surveillance footage to see where she was.
And the FBI is investigating because it has jurisdiction over possible crimes at sea. Meanwhile, tributes are pouring in at Temple Christian School in Titusville, Florida, where friends say Kepner was a straight A student. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
The world is evolving, but saving wherever possible remains smart business. Why PSE&G designed many different programs to help you save on energy costs. Our experts will help find the energy solutions that are the right fit for you, your business, and your world. Because saving energy impacts so much more than your bottom line. Connect with a PSE&G Energy Efficiency Advisor to learn more at pseg.com/business savings. Hey, listen to this. All they needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
Yeah, for me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Guys don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com, where engagement, middle name.
Here at 77 WABC, we've got the best lineup in talk radio, and we've got 104 years of experience.
Kind of bizarre review for you. This is all they've got. They've been used for
Under the microscope. Consistent and persistent.
Tell us the truth.
We've got the #1 Nielsen-rated news talk radio morning show.
Sid and Friends in the morning. That's me.
Plus the best music on the weekends with Brucey, Orlando, Biscopo, and Madunio. We've got all that, and you've This is the Stone Zone. Now, in the zone, it's the Stone Zone.
A man who's gone through hell, but he's kept going, and he's smart, and he's strong, and people love him. Not everybody, but people love him and respect him. Roger Stone. Where's Roger?
Here's Roger Stone.
800-848-9222. My name is Ken Matthews, and for Roger again tonight in the Stone Zone. It's always a pleasure to be with Roger's audience on the Red Apple Audio Networks. Let's grab a call. I believe this is Roy in Florida. Roy, welcome to the Roger Stone Show.
Yes, this is Roy. I'm proud to be out in New York and be in Florida. You know, one of the great things about capitalism is you can never end up with a guy like Nandani running a Fortune 500 company.
Isn't that amazing?
Putting that aside for a moment, I wanted to address this idea of magnifying the voices of extremists in America. The majority of Americans, unfortunately, are followers. They don't think for themselves. And the idea of taking the extremes and magnifying them because they're going to be good ratings is the mentality of TikTok. It's the mentality of Facebook. And you know, we have a real challenge.
Well, no, the challenge is where the challenge is, and you bring up an interesting point. TikTok and Facebook are what people that are against free speech limit some of these opposing voices to. I'd like to see both, for example, I use Ben Shapiro and Nick as an example. That would be a wonderful debate and what a way to sharpen your own beliefs and get your message out. Why not have an unlimited debate? Yeah, I mean, it's real easy to speak for an hour and trash someone, but what if you spoke for 2 hours and you went back and forth respectfully and talked about what the issues are?
Friction is good because ultimately, if you believe in science and in the Bible, there was a big explosion. There's constant friction in the universe. But what we need to do is have a meaningful dialogue that used to happen 30 years ago in the Congress between the Republicans and Democrats, not between a racist neo-Nazi.
So see, you haven't seen or heard enough of Nick because you call him a racist neo-Nazi. And how do you know he's a racist neo-Nazi?
By the ideas that he expresses.
When have you heard his ideas?
You know, I haven't listened to enough of him, to be honest.
There you go. And I respectfully thank you for calling. I appreciate your call. But that's the issue. So if he's really a racist and a Nazi and this horrible hellscape captain that everybody keeps calling him, what better opportunity than for Ben Shapiro to get on stage in front of a massive American audience and discuss it? I mean, if Nick Fuentes is a bona fide racist that wants to undermine America, you would think Ben Shapiro could neutralize him in 15 minutes, and that would be the end of Nick. I think they should debate. Nothing gives you more momentum for your beliefs than a debate. And we'll be back in the Stone Zone. My name's Ken Matthews. Thank you for your call, Roy. You brought up some good points.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.